Hey everybody, what's up? It's Ryan Quintel, and I am back before the month of August is out with another Quintel Designs tutorial. This one is dedicated to John R., who wrote me asking to make a zipper type of effect. He wanted to zip something open and kind of bend reality a little bit. And I think I have the technique that can help you out, John, and I hope it helps everybody else out here too. So let's do a zipper head in Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. The first program we're going to need is Illustrator, so open that up and let's get started. So we're going to make a new Illustrator doc, and it can be basically whatever size you want. I'm picking letter. It's not going to be a huge issue. Now we're going to make a zipper type of pattern, and the way we're going to do that is pretty simple. So let's make a polygon. And with our polygon, we're just going to hold down Shift and drag it out. Perfect polygon size. And now we're going to supplement that with the rectangle tool. And we're going to take the rectangle tool, and we're just going to basically take these last two pieces of the polygon and extend them down a little bit. And then finally, we're going to take this polygon, and we're going to hold down Alt, drag it down to the bottom, so that we have a little bit of a sort of two polygons and a rectangle connecting them. Now select everything here and just use your Pathfinder to combine it. If you don't have your Pathfinder visible, go to Window, Show Pathfinder. You also may notice that things snap around a little bit for me, and that's under View Smart Guides. That turns on centering and all that type of jazz. Next, we're going to connect these. So let's take the rectangle tool, and we're going to draw a bar that kind of goes something like that. So you can see that has, we're cutting off most of the bottom, what is it? Is it a polygon they're calling it, or whatever it is? It's cutting off most of it, and we're going to center it, and let's shrink it down so it's just a little bit wider than the polygon itself. And we're going to take everything there and Pathfinder it. And this is going to basically be a divot of our zipper. So holding down Option and Shift, grab a corner and size this thing way down. Really tiny, something like that. Now we're going to use Transform to multiply this out. So go to Effect, Distort and Transform it. Let's make, say, 20 copies. And we're going to move them horizontally a couple points. Turn on preview so you can see this. And you can see these things. Out and out and out. And you just want to keep tapping up until you can see that they're touching each other. And that looks like 14 is going to do it for me. And I feel like I can go more divots on this zipper. So I'm going to go back in, find your appearance palette. I keep mine way down here. And click on your effect, and I'm going to keep dialing that up. So 30, 40, let's see what 40 looks like. 40 is perfect. I'm going to hit OK. Now let's go to Object and Expand. That turns them all into individual shapes. And then Pathfinder unites them all. Now you can see that the fact that they didn't unite, or they still have these little lines, mean that they didn't totally connect to each other. So if that happens, you can just take your rectangle tool and draw a rectangle same size across all of them. Fill it in with something you can see like green. Select it all again and use the Pathfinder so you can see there that it becomes all one object. No lines in between them. Now with that all set, let's make it a couple, at least semi-zipper color. We'll go say about 25% gray. In the fill and the stroke, we'll go, how about 50%? It's not a huge difference, but still, that's our zipper. We're going to take that, select it, and we're going to create a new brush. So over in Brushes, select New Brush. And this is going to be an art brush, because we want to bend it around. And there's the general direction. We'll hit OK. In fact, maybe we'll call it zipper first, right? So we know what it's called, and OK. Then you can basically delete what we made, or you can save it for something else. Let's call this zipper save. And we'll delete it. Now you can see if we grab the paintbrush and go over into our brushes palette and select it, when we paint, we're going to get this cool zipper going on. So let's paint us a split zipper, something like this. That's pretty cool. Let's do it the other way. We'll start there. Right, something like that is a little bit better. So now that we have this V zipper thing going on, let's try and get it just a little bit more. I want to go a little more. That's perfect. You can see this weirdness that happened in the middle. That might be your point size. So instead I'm going to try 0.5 instead of 1. That doesn't really do it. And if you're not getting that result, I'm not too happy with that. Just leave this V alone and draw 2 to sort of mimic those. Now you can see here, this one is not facing the right direction. So we can do a couple things with that. What I like to do is pretty simple. So let's go to Object, Transform, and Reflect. That's going to make it face the other way. I'm going to hit vertical, yep. And you can see it makes it also go the correct way. We want these divots facing in. Now we're going to Object, Transform. Now we're going to Object, expand its appearance. That makes it so that it's no longer a path. So that path isn't going to transform when we transform this. So, okay, we'll go to Object, and we'll hit Reflect one more time, the same Reflect we did a vertical. Hit OK, and look at that, inward-facing divots. And down towards the bottom, let's just arrange these so they're interlocking a little bit. So you see we have a nice zipper happening pretty quickly, pretty easily. Command S will save. Now we're going to take this zipper and we're just going to Command C or Control C on a PC to copy it. Jump into Photoshop and open up a picture of yourself. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. That wasn't appropriate, was it? Okay, sorry. Crop off. And let me tell you guys, in case you didn't already get the 411, this is going to be way, way easier if you have shot yourself on some sort of solid background. It's going to take a lot of work to fill in a background, so I'm not covering that in today's tutorial. Instead, we'll deal with that another time. I'm shooting on this. This is literally a piece of green cloth I picked up for, I think, 10 bucks at a local Walmart or something like that. So with your picture there, crop it until you like it. And we're just going to do the head and shoulders for now. We're not going to worry about anything else, but obviously you can do this zipper any way you like. And I'm going to paste in as a smart object. I come up and hit OK here. And here's our zipper. So when we paste in, we're going to scale this up so it sort of supports everything going on. Maybe we'll start at the chin. And you want to probably go about as high as your head, right? Starting at the neck. So I'm going a little under where my head is, but I think that'll be fine once we curve it. Now, we're going to make 3 copies of the layer with me on it. So I'll rename this Ryan, so we know which one's me. And I'll rename this one Zipper, so we know what that is. The way I like to do this is just drag the U layer, the Ryan layer, down and create. There's Ryan copy 2. This next step's pretty easy. We're cutting the picture in half. So select your rectangular macrame tool, which is a fun word to say, and select half your face. Exactly half, and split it right where the zipper split. And hit delete. And that's on copy 2. Now select your regular copy. Right click and select inverse. It's very important that you don't click extra because you don't want to deselect. Now Ryan copy, you can hit delete. And now if we turn this off, we can see what we did. You can click anywhere to deselect. We made Ryan Copy 2 is just this. Ryan Copy is just that. And you can see I missed a little bit of the bottom, so I'll just crop it out like it was never there. So just one half, just the other half. Now we're going to use perhaps one of the coolest new things that Adobe has to offer, called the Puppet Warp. So on the copy, let's go to Edit and Puppet Warp. Here we're going to click a few times on my face, mainly right up the center. You don't want to go where the zippers are. We'll do 4 points right on my face. Then you can take these points and grab them and move them to match the zipper. So we'll come over here and you can see how weird this effect is, but it's really cool at the same time. And we'll take this and we'll bring it over here. And we need to put a point down there and sort of even me back out. So you see your body needs a warp point too. I'll connect that there. And just add points as needed to fill in these gaps. At a point, we'll squish it there. So there you go. We'll hit apply, and you can see, whoop, there goes half my head. Now select copy 2 or the right hand side. Same thing, edit. We're going to go to Puppet Warp, and you can see it turns it into a bunch of polygons. It's actually using 3D technology to figure this out. And we're just going to do these points right up my face. Or start there. So you can see it's really distorting the image. So you want to have a big image to work with, probably over 5 or at least 6 megapixels, just so you have the playing room. You're seeing something that's probably closer to 10 or 12 megapixels that I'm dealing with as far as how this image was shot. And so that gets split open too. Let's take this down here and try and at least match up the neckline. And this over here and try and get the shoulder. There we go. Click and hit apply. And there goes the other side of me. So a little weirdness around the neck. You can just create a new layer and use something like the cloning stamp tool to just fill in those blanks. So we'll take that and hold down Option, sample some of my neck. Be sure to pick current and below as far as your layers go. And you can see you can fill in these gaps actually pretty easily, right? And thanks to us shooting on a solid color, which I always recommend, you can create a new layer, come in and just sample, use a paintbrush, sample some of your background, and just paint it right in. Turn the flow up so you can see this a little bit quicker. Pretty unbelievable. And just take your shadows here and kind of paint in where shadows would go. I imagine there'd be a pretty big shadow where I split my head, and I can turn down the flow and dial that back a little bit with some of this here, kind of break it up, make it look less even. And then the final stuff to do really is the treatment of the zipper. So select your zipper layer, and let's go in and choose a bevel and emboss. I almost never tell people to use this, but it just seems appropriate in this scenario. We'll bring the size up, and we'll bring the depth way up, and then drum down the black so that these highlights are sort of the star. As well as we'll do an inner glow. Make that white. Leave the default settings there. I think I went a little too crazy on the bevel emboss, but I don't mind it so much. I think that effect is fine. A little smaller on the size. And then maybe a nice gradient overlay. Put it on screen mode. Turn down its opacity so it goes from lighter gray, or white even at the top, to darker gray at the bottom. And then you can even do a drop shadow. Turn up its size and its distance. So it's kind of cutting the head in half. And the opacity way down to, say, 10%. And it makes a really cool, unique, and interesting effect. And quite frankly, it's something that I don't know if I have a use for, but it's cool nonetheless. So save your work. That is splitting something open with a zipper in Photoshop and Illustrator. If you know of a way to just do it in Photoshop pretty easily, or a way to just do it in Illustrator pretty easily, write me, tell me, and or make a video and respond to this one and show us, because I'd love to learn too. Until then, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day and keep designing.